Returning to the job after the client initially postponed due to a lack of funds indicates a lack of professionalism and sets a precedent for unreliable behavior. Agreeing to work in an unlocked house is a safety concern and violates industry best practices. Not inspecting the attic before starting work causes unforeseen delays and wasted time. Not being firm about rescheduling when the attic was not accessible allows the customers to disrespect your time and schedule. Continuing to work after the customers repeatedly displayed unreliable behavior further compromises your professionalism and profitability. Here are some important lessons learned. Firstly, always get a confirmed appointment. Secondly, avoid situations where you cannot access the property to do the work. Thirdly, never work in an unlocked house. Fourthly, ensure the safety of yourself and your crew. Fifthly, inspect the job site thoroughly before starting work. Sixthly, identify any potential obstacles or delays. Seventhly, be firm about rescheduling when necessary. Eighthly, maintain control over your time and schedule. Ninthly, cut ties with unreliable customers. And tenthly, it is important to protect your business and avoid wasting time and resources on clients who are not committed to their obligations. It is recommended to refer future customers to other electricians if they have a history of unreliable behavior or financial difficulties. Clearly state your policies regarding payment, access to the property, and rescheduling in writing. Consider having customers sign a contract before starting work to ensure their commitment and clarity of expectations. Focus on building relationships with reliable and respectful customers who value your time and expertise. The following considerations are important to keep in mind for future jobs. Thoroughly vet potential clients before committing to a job, paying close attention to their payment history and reliability. Clearly communicate your expectations regarding access to the property, preparation of the work area, and adherence to the agreed-upon schedule. Implement a contract that outlines the scope of work, payment terms, rescheduling policies, and any potential consequences for breach of contract. Conduct a thorough site inspection before commencing work to identify any potential hazards, obstacles, or unforeseen conditions. Be prepared to reschedule or terminate the job if the client fails to meet their obligations or if the work environment poses safety risks. Maintain a professional demeanor at all times, but do not hesitate to assert your boundaries and protect your business interests. Document all communications with the client, including emails, text messages, and phone calls to provide a record of any agreements or issues that arise. Seek legal advice if necessary to ensure that your contracts and business practices comply with all applicable laws and regulations. By implementing these measures, you can minimize the risk of encountering unreliable clients and protect your business from financial losses and wasted time. Remember that your time is valuable, and it is essential to prioritize clients who respect your professionalism and commitment to delivering quality work. Furthermore, consider these key areas to protect your business and time. Firstly, it is about client screening. Implement a screening process to assess potential clients' reliability and financial stability. This could involve checking references, reviewing online reviews, or conducting credit checks. Secondly, be clear about communication. Establish clear and concise communication channels with clients to avoid misunderstandings and ensure that expectations are aligned from the outset. Thirdly, payment terms need to be clearly outlined. Define your payment terms upfront, including deposit requirements, payment schedules, and late payment penalties. Ensure that these terms are clearly stated in your contract. Fourthly, site inspections are important. Conduct thorough site inspections before commencing work to identify any potential hazards, obstacles, or unforeseen conditions. This will help you avoid costly delays and ensure that you have the necessary resources to complete the job successfully. Fifthly, implement contracts. Utilize legally binding contracts that outline the scope of work, payment terms, rescheduling policies, and any potential consequences for breach of contract. This will provide you with legal recourse in the event of a dispute. Sixthly, rescheduling policies are critical. Establish clear rescheduling policies that specify the conditions under which you will reschedule work and any associated fees. This will help you maintain control over your schedule and minimize disruptions caused by unreliable clients. Seventhly, termination clauses are useful to have. Include a termination clause in your contract that allows you to terminate the project if the client fails to meet their obligations or if the work environment poses safety risks. Eighthly, document everything carefully. Maintain detailed records of all communications with clients, including emails, text messages, phone calls, and meeting notes. This will provide you with evidence to support your position in the event of a dispute. Ninthly, insurance is important to obtain. Ensure that you have adequate insurance coverage to protect yourself from liability in the event of accidents, injuries, or property damage. Tenthly, legal counsel can assist with your business. Seek legal advice from a qualified attorney to ensure that your contracts and business practices comply with all applicable laws and regulations. This will help you minimize the risk of legal disputes and protect your business interests. Furthermore, consider implementing these processes to prevent problems from the very start. 1. Pre-qualification of clients. Before submitting a bid or proposal, pre-qualify potential clients by asking them about their project goals, budget, and timeline. This will help you assess their level of commitment and ensure that their expectations align with your capabilities. 2. Detailed scope of work. Develop a detailed scope of work that clearly outlines the tasks, materials, and deliverables that are included in the project. This will help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that both you and the client are on the same page. 3. Change order process. Implement a formal change order process to address any changes or additions to the original scope of work. This will help you track costs, manage timelines, and avoid disputes over payment. 4. Progress payments. Structure your payment schedule to include progress payments that are tied to specific milestones or deliverables. This will ensure that you are compensated for your work as it progresses and provide you with leverage to address any payment issues. 5. Regular communication. Maintain regular communication with the client throughout the project to keep them informed of progress, address any concerns, and ensure that they are satisfied with the work. 6. Quality control measures. Implement quality control measures to ensure that your work meets the highest standards of excellence. This will help you avoid rework, minimize defects, and enhance your reputation. 7. Post-project review. Conduct a post-project review to identify any lessons learned and areas for improvement. This will help you refine your processes, enhance your efficiency, and deliver even better results in the future. 8. Customer feedback. Solicit feedback from clients upon completion of the project to gauge their satisfaction and identify any areas where you can improve your service. 9. Relationship building. Focus on building long-term relationships with clients by providing exceptional service, demonstrating professionalism, and exceeding their expectations. 10. Continuous improvement. Embrace a culture of continuous improvement by constantly seeking ways to enhance your processes, improve your skills, and deliver greater value to your clients. By implementing these strategies, you can create a more efficient, profitable, and fulfilling business that attracts and retains high-quality clients. When evaluating potential clients, consider the following factors. Payment history. Inquire about the client's payment history with other contractors or service providers. A history of late payments or non-payment should raise a red flag. Project scope and budget. Assess whether the client's project scope and budget are realistic and aligned with your expertise and capabilities. A client with unrealistic expectations may be difficult to work with. Communication skills. Evaluate the client's communication skills and their ability to clearly articulate their needs and expectations. Poor communication can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. References. Request references from previous clients and contact them to inquire about their experience working with the client. Online reviews. Check online reviews and ratings to gauge the client's reputation and identify any potential issues. Professionalism. Observe the client's demeanor and professionalism during initial meetings and communications. A client who is disrespectful or demanding may be difficult to work with. Responsiveness. Assess the client's responsiveness to your inquiries and requests. A client who is slow to respond or difficult to reach may cause delays and frustration. Decision-making process. Understand the client's decision-making process and who has the authority to approve changes or make payments. A complex or unclear decision-making process can slow down the project. Trust and rapport. Evaluate whether you feel comfortable and confident working with the client. Building a strong rapport and establishing trust are essential for a successful project. Intuition. Trust your gut instinct. If something feels off or you have a bad feeling about the client, it may be best to decline the project. It is important to weigh these factors carefully and make an informed decision about whether to take on a particular project. Remember that it is always better to decline a project that you're not comfortable with than to risk a negative experience that could damage your reputation and profitability. Furthermore, consider these additional tips for dealing with difficult clients. Set clear boundaries. Establish clear boundaries from the outset and communicate them to the client. This includes setting limits on your availability, defining the scope of work, and outlining your payment terms. Maintain professionalism. Remain professional and courteous at all times, even when dealing with difficult clients. Avoid getting drawn into arguments or engaging in unprofessional behavior. Document everything. Keep detailed records of all communications with the client, including emails, phone calls, and meeting notes. This will provide you with evidence to support your position in the event of a dispute. Seek support. Don't hesitate to seek support from colleagues, mentors, or industry professionals when dealing with difficult clients. They may be able to offer advice, guidance, or a fresh perspective on the situation. Know when to walk away. Recognize when a situation is beyond repair and be willing to walk away from the project. It is better to cut your losses than to continue working with a client who is causing you stress and financial hardship. Focus on your well-being. Prioritize your well-being by taking breaks, practicing self-care, and setting healthy boundaries. Dealing with difficult clients can be emotionally draining, so it is important to take care of yourself. Learn from the experience. Use the experience of dealing with difficult clients as an opportunity to learn and grow. Reflect on what you could have done differently and develop strategies for handling similar situations in the future. By implementing these tips, you can minimize the negative impact of difficult clients on your business and protect your well-being. Remember that you have the right to choose who you work with, and it is always better to prioritize your own interests and values.